So, if your business operates in the EU, you need to listen up. There's a major shift happening in cybersecurity right now, and honestly, ignoring it could be a massively costly mistake. It's called the NIS2 Directive, and it's basically rewriting the rulebook for how companies have to protect themselves online. Let's break down what it is, and more importantly, what it actually means for you.
Look, this isn't just some dramatic marketing quote anymore. It's the official mindset behind European law. We've moved past asking if a business will face a cyber attack. The real question now is when. And that shift, from possibility to pure inevitability, that's exactly why the EU decided it needed to build a much, much stronger shield.
And these threats, they're not just theoretical. This is what's happening right now, according to the EU's own cybersecurity agency. Get this, over 41% of incidents are DDoS attacks, which are designed simply to knock you offline and paralyze your operations. And right on its heels, you've got ransomware, making up almost 26% of attacks, literally holding your business hostage. We're talking about direct, crippling assaults.
And then there's this number, 11,079. That's the number of cyber incidents tracked in the EU over just the last year. Now, to put that in perspective, and this is what's really alarming, the year before that, the number was just around 2,500. This isn't just a small increase, it's an absolute explosion. The game has totally changed. So, you might be asking, what went wrong? I mean, the EU already had a cybersecurity law, the original NIS Directive. The idea was good, but the execution, well, it was a problem. Every country kind of did its own thing, interpreting the rules differently. The result was this messy patchwork of protection with huge, dangerous gaps, which left the whole union at risk. The old shield just wasn't cutting it. So, Europe basically went back to the drawing board to build something way more robust. And what they came up with is the NIS2 Directive. Now, this isn't just some minor update. It's a complete overhaul. It's designed to create one single high standard of cybersecurity for everyone. So let's pop the hood and see what's inside.
At its heart, NIS2 is all about one thing: resilience. It massively expands the number of industries that have to comply, and, maybe most importantly, it gets rid of the vague guidelines and replaces them with crystal clear, strict obligations. It's about building a framework that can actually handle the pressure of today's cyber threats, not just one that looks good on paper.
The best way to think about it is like a mandatory security upgrade for the entire EU. NIS2 casts a much wider net, pulling in whole new sectors that were never covered before. And for businesses, what this really means is that all that ambiguity is gone. Instead, you have direct, non-negotiable mandates on how to manage risk and how to report incidents. The goal here is to lift everybody up to a higher, more consistent level of security.
So, how does NIS2 apply all these rules? Well, it starts by splitting businesses into two main categories. You're either essential or you're important. Essential is exactly what it sounds like. If your business goes down, it could cause a major crisis. We're talking energy grids, hospitals, that kind of thing. Because they're so critical, they face proactive supervision, meaning regulators can show up for inspections and audits anytime. Important entities are still vital, but a failure is seen as less catastrophic. So their supervision is mostly reactive. It gets triggered after something bad happens. The very first thing you have to do is figure out which bucket you're in.
Okay, so what does this all mean for your actual day-to-day work? The directive's demands really boil down to two main things you have to do. First, how you manage your risks, and second, how you report incidents when they happen.
Let's start with risk management. Article 21 says your security measures have to be appropriate and proportionate. Now, that's not some one-size-fits-all checklist. It means your defenses have to specifically match your risks. And here's the key phrase: all hazards approach. You're expected to plan for pretty much everything. Not just a hacker in a dark room, but state-sponsored attacks, an angry ex-employee, or even a physical disaster like a fire in your server room.
And the second piece? Incident reporting. This is where the pressure really mounts. The second you realize you've had a significant incident, a clock starts ticking. You have just 24 hours to file an early warning to your national authority, which is usually a CSIRT team. Then you have to follow up within 72 hours with a much more detailed report about the impact and severity. That timeline is incredibly tight, It means having an incident response plan that's practiced and ready to go is not a nice-to-have, it's an absolute must.
Okay, so the rules are clear, they're strict. The big question for everyone is, how do you actually get this done? Let's walk through the playbook.
Right. This is the question that's probably on every leader's mind at the moment. You've got these new rules, you've got a deadline, and the whole thing can feel pretty overwhelming. But the path to getting compliant really starts with one simple thing: taking a good, honest look at where you are right now.
The professional tool for doing this is called a cybersecurity maturity model. Think of it like a full-body health checkup for your organization's cyber defenses. It doesn't just look at your tech. It assesses your processes, your tools, and even your people's skills to give you a really honest score. This process is what shows you your blind spots, and it gives you the one thing you need most: a concrete step-by-step roadmap to close those gaps and get compliant.
And what does that compliance standard actually look like? Well, it's a pretty comprehensive list of security basics. And it's not just about firewalls. We're talking about having official, written policies for everything from handling incidents to business continuity. It forces you to scrutinize your entire supply chain, because under NIS2, your vendor's risk is now your risk. And it really drills down on fundamentals, like basic cyber training for everyone and using strong encryption. This is what good looks like.
So we've covered what you need to do. Now let's talk about the consequences if you don't. Because with NIS2, let me be clear, the stakes have never been higher.
First off, the financial penalties are huge. For those essential entities, you're looking at fines up to 10 million euros or 2% of your total global annual turnover. For important entities, it's up to 7 million euros or 1.4% of global turnover. And here's the kicker: they'll hit you with whichever of those two numbers is higher. These fines are absolutely designed to hurt, even for the biggest companies out there.
But it isn't just about the company's money. This right here is probably the biggest change in NIS2. It pierces the corporate veil. Senior management, C-level execs can now be held personally liable for major security failures. Regulators can even temporarily ban them from holding management jobs. All of a sudden, cybersecurity isn't just some IT problem. It's a personal responsibility for every single leader.
Which brings us to the real fundamental question that NIS2 is forcing every organization in Europe to answer. Is cybersecurity just a line item on your budget, something you try to keep as low as possible, or is it a core foundation of your business, just as essential as your product, your people, or your capital? With these new rules, it's pretty clear there's only one right answer.